Well, hello, and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and ITY TV interview. I'm joined today by Ryan Gomes. He is the Regional Sales Manager of Workplace Technology at Crestron ANZ. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Alex. Lovely to be here.
It's great to have you. Now, in October last year, we spoke with your colleague Max Davies, Crestron's Director of UC and Enterprise, in a great video interview and article that I'll link to that accompanies this article. Now, let's start at the beginning though. What is Crestron known for in 2022, and what have been the big changes and developments since we spoke with Max 6 months ago?
Yeah, look, in 2022, we're certainly still known for our in-room conferencing systems. We, really are enabling the workplace with video systems, which is a lot more prolific, obviously, in 2022 post-pandemic. So we're known for that at the moment, really getting out there, enabling these meeting rooms and these spaces that need to be video enabled so we can have those hybrid meetings and have those that collaboration that we need with the people in the office and the people who are at home. What's new for Crestron in 2022? Well, the exciting news is that Dan Felstein, who's the founder's son, is now the CEO. And that's pretty exciting. I mean, Crestron's still a privately owned $2 billion family business. So, that's pretty rare in the tech world these days. Another notable update is that Crestron acquired a camera company called One Beyond. Now, One Beyond, they make tracking and framing cameras. And that's really going to help Crestron round out our solution for immersive and collaboration spaces. So pretty exciting news for Crestron in the last 6 months, yeah.
And that's an example of how companies are always, improving the products each year with new capabilities, new features. I mean, these new cameras are clearly going to give an edge in how meetings are captured and how they're made more immersive. And no doubt you've got plenty of other cool things bubbling along in the R&D departments for years to come.
Absolutely. Crestron is a global workplace technology company, and we work with a range of premium partners to enable workplace solutions. So our R&D team is very busy at the moment, working through some amazing new products, and I'm really looking forward to what we see in the coming years. Yeah.
Now, Ryan, you've recently come on board with Crestron, and you were, in a position where you had a lot of experience throughout the pandemic talking to large enterprise and government clients about their changing needs and what's obviously been incredibly transformational times. So can you please tell us a bit about your own journey and history in the world of tech and what attracted you to join Crestron?
Yeah, Alex. Well, I started my career in IT. I worked for companies like IBM, and then I moved into the finance sector, still in tech, but I worked for companies like Bank of America and UBS Investment Bank. And then I transitioned to the AV industry from there, and I worked as a consultant for many years, designing typical meeting rooms and conferencing spaces. But I also designed some really unique spaces like TV broadcast studios, council and parliament chambers, performance spaces. So I had a really exciting and fulfilling career as a AV consultant. What attracted me to continue my career with Crestron? Well, I couldn't think of a better place to be at the moment as the world's evolving, especially with hybrid workplace, and taking my knowledge and my skills and applying it to really new and innovative solutions for Crestron's clients, and really being part of that transition and that new technology space as we move into the post-COVID world. So, yeah, pretty exciting for me to be at Crestron.
Sure. And you must have seen quite an evolution in the amount of technology and the way that AV was done, 10 years ago compared to how it's done today. And presumably you were using and seeing Crestron products throughout that time as well.
Oh, look, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, I mean, it was really different. But even 5 years ago, it was really different. The way that we interface with technology now, we use it, what we have at the home, it really transitions from the home to the workplace. So, technology in the workplace, or what Crestron was doing, was really isolated in meeting rooms and very specific. But now it's really evolving to not just meeting rooms, but the entire workplace, the user journey, how we engage with with the space in terms of coming into the office, booking rooms and booking desks, and it's really evolved quite significantly. So it is a pretty exciting time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just imagine if the pandemic had happened, 20 years ago when we were still in the dial-up stage. I mean, you can't really imagine. There would have been no video conferencing back then. It would have all just been, phone conferences, I guess, if we had to really do it like that. And of course, back then we were paying, cents per minute or dollars per minute for
That's
teleconferencing call. Multi-party calls were expensive things. And but you must have also seen and been part of many massive upgrades over this past couple of years, sort of just before you joined Crestron, to get those workplaces ready for the hybrid workforce that we're now slowly starting to see come back. And even though COVID is finally easing up, I mean, there must be a lot of desire in the workplace to make sure that people are still fully up to date at home, and if they're ready to come back to the office, up to date in the office and up to date wherever they can work remotely.
Yeah. Look, I think the desire is there for everything to be up to date. I think, COVID is easing a little bit, but really, we're still on that journey. We're right at the start of that journey. The reality is, occupancy in buildings at the moment, it's maybe only 20 to 30% of occupancy nationally. So I think we're really at the beginning of that journey. What we're seeing in the market is organizations are still working out what does that technology footprint look like. It can be quite specific to individual needs or organizational needs or policies or cultures. So we're really at the start of that journey. People are still working from home. They're still comfortable at home, but we are seeing that migration back to the office, because we, as humans, we do need to connect with each other, and we do need to collaborate with each other, and that's what the office environment's for. But we still need to bring those people who are remote into that space and collaborate with us in the office. So we're seeing that migration happen. We're seeing that change happening, but it really is technology really underpins that capability. So it's pretty exciting.
Now, a lot of people would say that they're more productive because they don't have to travel to work for an hour or two there and back every day, and they get more time at home, more time with their family, but also more sort of quiet time, and they can still talk to their colleagues over Zoom in sort of meetings. But I mean, is the productivity is it higher? Is it lower? What is Crestron's stats showing in that regard?
Well, I mean, what hybrid work has done for us, it's given us the choice. So we can choose to either work from home or we can choose to work from the office. And that choice allows us to be more productive. Sometimes, if I'm at home and I want to focus on a report or, push through 100 emails, I can do that from home, and it's, it's a really quiet environment and no one's disturbing me. But when I want to go to the office and collaborate with my teammates, that's the best place to collaborate with your teammates, obviously, is in the office, because you can be together, you can collaborate together, and you can, physically share things amongst each other. And then also bring in those remote colleagues through technology. You can bring them into the office and you can have that hybrid meeting as well. So I think productivity is all about where you're most comfortable. You're going to get the most out of what you do in the environment that makes you most successful. So I don't think it's one or the other. I actually think being productive is now having the ability to choose your environment. Yeah.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Choose your own productivity. Maybe you would come up with something, Alex. Who knows?
That's it. Well, I mean, we didn't really have that choice before. I mean, remote working isn't new, but it wasn't something you did unless you were a freelancer or a contractor. I mean, you didn't really do it before. So it's sort of opened people's eyes up, and it's one of the silver linings to the, COVID cloud of chaos. But, just the last question about the whole COVID thing, were there any lessons specifically in this last, first few months of 2022 that build upon things we learned in 2021 and 2020?
Yeah, look, I think, a couple of things. Greater user experience is still the number one lesson, providing great experiences for people coming back to the office. Just, you got to remember that, working from home, we've been really enabled. We've been really enabled to be productive. We've been really enabled to communicate. And we've had good experiences in the home while we've been in lockdown, which is amazing. But it's also not so great being isolated from everyone. So having greater user experiences as we return back to the workplace is paramount. I think that is really the number one lesson for 2022. How do we enable those experiences? Well, it's not just through great coffees and food and great breakout spaces, but it's also enabling this, the environments for people to be really productive and to connect, and the ease of use of in that user journey, coming into the office and being able to come to the office easily and to book a desk and to book a room and to connect with people on conferencing. All those things are really important, and technology underpins that greater user experience. So, that's a real big focus and something that we're seeing throughout 2022 as well. Another, really important point for 2022 in the workplace is really about continued technology adoption. I think we're really on the beginning of that journey. We've had really known technologies to date. We know, how to access, our workplace. We know how to, make a conference call. We know how to connect a laptop onto a workstation and connect our screens. But they're the kind of basic things, I think, in terms of what the technology adoption is going to look like in the future. In the future, we're going to have to, find our colleagues and try and find them. Where are they? If you're in a space where they've booked a table on a different floor or a workstation on a different floor, how do we know where they are? So, finding our colleagues and wayfinding and understanding, our user journey in that space, but also how we connect with each other is going to be really important. We're also going to really need to know, how many people are in the office and how many people are working from home, and how does that impact the workplace itself? I mean, how much energy do we need to use? How much food do we need to order for our cafes for that day? There's so many things that we need to understand, and technology really will underpin all of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Crestron has a very wide range of products and services, catering a very wide range of scenarios, from super intelligent homes to super intelligent offices to remote working and everything in between. So, which are the most popular in the various market segments you cater to, and which are the growing the fastest in 2022?
Well, our conferencing and unified communication series called Crestron Flex is certainly the most popular at the moment, and is the most ordered in 2022. In fact, we've delivered 25% more conferencing systems this year than last year to date. So that's pretty significant. However, we're still seeing an amazing growth in all our product range, from our control systems to our scheduling panels, and our traditional control systems and audio and video products, but also cloud services. So it certainly speaks to the continued growth in technology for the workplace, and I foresee that to come in the coming years. That's certainly not going to stop for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Now, I always like to think of customers as a great R&D resource. They push you for features and services and benefits that you may not have thought of or you weren't ready to introduce as yet. So has there been anything that you've heard about or experienced yourself that customers have surprised you with to say, hey, we want this, please help make it happen?
Yeah, good question. I think, in terms of features, I think the first point to note there, Alex, is we're actually having more meaningful conversations with our customers now. I think it's really important for our customers to understand what is required in the workplace. So they're really looking at their behaviors, their organizational behaviors and their patterns of work, and really trying to address that with what's required in the workplace. I mean, in terms of what's really on the horizon in terms of the products, is certainly still that conferencing, but we're seeing a lot of space management needs there, making sure that people can book space. So our room booking panels and solutioning around space management is really important. In terms of what surprised us as well is how urgent the solutions are required and the products are required. We're really seeing that push back into the workplace. Everyone's really energized about getting the work environment enabled. So really, we're seeing that rush to come back into the workplace. And so the conversation is there around what do we need, but it's also we need it now, which is really exciting. But it's also we're trying to transition back to the workplace from the home, and we're trying to get it ready really urgently. So that's really the takeout for 2022.
Sure. And in the world of shortages and inflation and delays, I mean, how is the stock levels of Crestron in Australia for all getting the products to the customers as quickly as they wanted?
Yeah, look, I think like any other technology organization, we've been hit with chip shortages, and we foresee that to continue into 2023.
Mm.
I mean, that's just technology. If we're talking about the workplace, I mean, with shortages on timber and plasterboard and in all materials at the moment, so we're certainly not immune to that. The really good thing is that we are certainly seeing the need for it. We're still seeing the orders come through, and that's pretty exciting because there is very much a long-term view of enabling, the technology in the space, and a view to build platforms rather than ordering devices. So, in terms of what Crestron does is we're very much a workplace technology platform provider. It's not just about our conferencing systems. It's about our cloud services. It's about our room booking panels. It's about how we control technology within and services within the building. So, it's really exciting because our clients they're not scared about shortages, and they're not worried about the impact of that. What they are more concerned about is getting the solution right. So that's pretty exciting.
And it's not just products that you're delivering; it's an experience.
Absolutely, it's getting the experience right. I think the opportunity for everyone coming back to the workplace is it is an opportunity to get it right. And really, we've never had that kind of opportunity in the past before. What we've done is we've just upgraded spaces, and we've assessed what we need in the workplace. But it's the first time where we've all gone home and worked from home and had a chance to really assess what is required in a workplace, what's going to make us more productive. Yeah, so I think that's a really exciting place to be, and now we're looking through a different lens, and we're not thinking about solving short-term problems, but we're thinking about solving these sort of medium and long-term problems, or providing a medium and long-term solution. So I think that's really exciting. Yeah.
Now, just to change gears for a sec, as we get towards the end of the interview, what's a memory that you can share of your first computer?
My first computer was a laptop. It was called an Amstrad, and that Amstrad had a 512 K
Floppy
boot disk,
floppy
boot disk.
That's it.
And it had a monochrome screen, and I think I did some word processing on it, maybe some Excel spreadsheets, and I played a few games. I think Paperboy was one of them.
I remember that one.
Pretty exciting laptop for a 14-year-old, I think it was. Yeah.
And just to fast forward a little bit, when was a memory of your first remote working experience, which would have been long before COVID, presumably?
My first remote working experience was before COVID, but my most memorable one was with my daughter around 2020. She started her remote learning. So we had an opportunity to work together. She was sitting next to me learning, and I was sitting next to her working. And it was really enjoyable to share those moments with her, which really started a different way of working and learning. But to have that memory and to go through a difficult situation, with family and make it into a positive one was very memorable. Yeah.
And, I always like to ask about the future. In the 2030s, we should have AR glasses everywhere. I mean, VR will hopefully be superseded by AR that can do everything that VR can do and more. And we've got the metaverse, which is sort of that VR experience. And I did see from Sony, they had these incredibly realistic 8K prototype glasses where they had this overwhelming sense of reality. It looked real as opposed to sort of the console level graphics we see on virtual reality headsets today. So, how does Crestron see that future? And you must already be in your labs working on those sorts of experiences, because it's clearly coming.
Look, we're certainly working on technologies that will enable us to communicate a lot better. In terms of virtual reality, I don't think that's an impossibility. We certainly have the capability now, but I think with virtual reality, we need a commercial need and a commercial want to do it. So as we return back to the workplace and people start connecting together, maybe the conferencing we're doing and now won't be enough. Maybe they're going to demand newer experiences and demand to be more immersive into those meetings and into those conferences. So I certainly don't think it's not within reach. I think it will happen, but I think that will be it will progress like every other technology. I think we're really at the beginning of how we connect with conferencing and with video enabled conferencing. So I think certainly within the next 10, 15 years, we'll certainly have the capability to meet with each other virtually through virtual reality. When I think back 10 years ago, what we were using, we were starting to use video-enabled conferencing applications more prolifically, like Microsoft Teams, or before that, Skype for Business and Zoom. So I think, it will really be an evolution, but it will happen quickly. I think it will happen really quickly. I mean, we've seen it happen extremely quickly over the last 2 years. And people are really consuming technology now, and they're not afraid of it. So, will people be afraid to put on VR glasses and be immersed into a different world? I think that's coming.
Yeah. At the moment, with all this, return to work, we're trying to get back to actual reality, let alone the virtual.
That's right. So that's exactly right. Yeah. So I think it's really a balance between those two worlds, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
Virtual reality and reality, and having been able to shake someone's hand versus being able to virtually shake someone's hand. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Now, my second last question to you is, what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received to help you get where you are today?
Oh, look, I think the best advice I've received is simple advice. And the simple advice is really people are really to connect with people and value people. People is what we're all about, whether it's at home or in the workplace. And our relationships with people are the most important thing. And the other thing is really to enjoy what you do. That's the other really good piece of advice is, really enjoy the work you do. And if you enjoy the work you do, it's not really work, is it? So, I would say they're the two most important pieces of advice I've received. Yeah.
I mean, on the first point, you talked about how the conversations you're having with your colleagues and your customers is so much more meaningful than you've had before. And that's part of that whole listening and connecting.
Absolutely. I think, meaningful conversations just really results in fantastic solutions and results for everyone. So, we can have conversations around what is there and what the needs are required, but
it's all about understanding.
It's all about the understanding. If you can distill the important facts out of a conversation and resolve those issues, then I think you get great results. So yeah.
So what is your final message to i2Wire viewers and readers, and to your current and future customers and partners?
Look, I think it's exciting times, and I think my message would be to get involved and get out there and get excited about the new world that we live in. We're getting back into the office, and there's so many opportunities when there's disruption like that. So, and like the disruption we've had in the last 2 years. So my message would be to just get excited about it, get back in there, get back into the office, re-establish yourself, re-establish the new ways of work. And if you're in the technology space, so it's an exciting time to live, because we have an opportunity to make some really exciting changes. So
absolutely. Things are, it's never Groundhog Day in technology. There's something new every day.
Every day, every minute. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, Ryan Gomes, the Regional Sales Manager of Workplace Technologies at Crestron ANZ, I wish you the best of success with reconnecting with everybody, with all the new products and services on the way. And I do hope we can talk again in the future.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.